Looking back at me, I see that I never really got it right.
Okay, so I know that Halloween is a long time away still, but it's getting closer, and it's my favorite holiday. So, starting this weekend, I'm going to do one Halloween project every weekend, so when it comes to Halloween, I'll have a ton of decorations to put up, and it'll look amazing. So, this week's project, I'm going to make a votive candle holder, and I'm using just these Luminar baseware cups barware cups that I just got from Walmart. It's like $2 or something, I don't even know, I didn't pay attention, but they're really cheap, and I got 4 of them. So, I'm going to make little votive holders for Halloween. So I need black paper, a regular circle hole punch, doesn't have to be a fancy shaped one, Mod Podge. It does not have to be the outdoor, but this just happens to be the one that I had left in my pack. I wanted a matte finish, I didn't feel like a glossy finish, so this one works perfect. And then a brush of some sort. Usually I use just a brush from a regular assorted pack, just whatever one I grab. This is actually an old blush brush I had, and I find that it works really, really good because the bristles don't really fall out like some of the cheap craft brushes do. So step 1 is just going to be simply to take the construction paper and we're just going to rip in strips. This first strip's difficult because you have to get off the rough edge. We don't want the outside edge of the paper to show. So it's just garbage. So are these ends. Okay, so we just need to rip the paper into strips like this and then rip the strips into squares. It doesn't really matter how big the squares are, just as long as they're big enough to punch 2 holes onto each square. And we need to do enough squares to cover the entire surface of the cup. So, quite a few squares. So, I'm going to work on this. Okay, now that you've ripped yourself a pile of little squares, you simply take your hole punch and you punch 2 circles into each and every little square, relatively close together. What these are going to do is be little eyes, so you want them to be pretty close together. If you have a fatter hole punch than this, it would be better because you want the holes to be a little bit bigger. This is the only hole punch I have, unfortunately, so it will have to work for me. This is a great project to do with kids because they can sit and rip up little pieces of paper and they can punch holes in them. They don't have to be perfect. So it's a lot of fun to do as like a family project. I don't have any kids yet, so all my family projects are my projects. And someday when I have kids, I'll have already made everything and I don't know what I'll do with them. Guess I'll go online and watch videos of what other people do with their kids to get ideas of what stuff to do because I'll have already done everything else. So we just go on so forth and keep on punching holes while we finish these up. Okay, now that you've punched 2 little holes in all of your pieces of paper, you can take out your Mod Podge. Whenever I do Mod Podge, I usually like to take a square piece of paper and just goop it onto the paper. I think it works better. This is a really thick base Mod Podge. I think either because it's older or because it's supposed to be used for outside projects. Doesn't really matter. It always dries clear, so get some on, and then you just start laying your little your little guys on here. They can overlap. You just want to make sure that you have the actual eye holes always on open space because those are where the light is going to shine through. So it's going to be really cool when you have a lid. It's going to look like a million little eyes. Don't stick your hand into the Mod Podge because it doesn't stay very well onto the paper when your hand is in it. It's going to look like a million little eyes watching you. I love Halloween. How many times have I said that so far? There's so much fun when you can do all kinds of these little cute ideas I don't know why. I love pink. I'm really turning into more and more of a girly girl every year. But Halloween has always been my favorite holiday. Maybe because you can be a princess. So I'm going to keep coating and covering the whole cup. Oops. Okay, so I even put paper on the top part of it. Totally covered the entire thing in a layer of Mod Podge. And I'll leave it upside down to dry for a while. And when it's all dry, it should dry completely clear, leaving the eye holes being seen straight through to the inside of the glass. So let's wait a while and see what it looks like. Okay, so my candle holder is mainly dry. And as you can see when you look at it in the light, you can see all the little eye holes. I'll bring it close. All the little holes, and it looks like there's little eyes staring at you. So we're just going to do the final finishing up project. For this, you just need a very fine point brush. I have this one right here. It's a very fine tip. And some black paint. So just some black paint is fine. Any kind of brand. Is just take it in here and just do a little dot. In the middle of each eye. So you have little eyes that are looking at you. I'm just going to go around the thing and do these same little dots on every single eyeball so that you have little eyes that are watching you. And when you light your candle on the inside, these are just going to glow in a very cool way. So when it dries, okay, so I just took some of my raffia, cut it into strips, and tied it in a little knot on the front to make a very cute little bow on it. Now I have my spooky eyes, but it still has a bow to make it a little bit more finished looking than just a rough cut. So there we go. Beautiful. And Halloween project number 1 complete. Well, I'm going to make 3 more, but they'll be different. I like to make all my stuff different, and I'll probably put the same raffia bow on the top of all of them so they all make a set that are different. So there we go. Spooky eyes. Hope you enjoyed. Come back in.
You are the